So I'm gonna getting the run started in 3,
Dang.
2. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. So we're getting started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Go. All right.
So there's quite a bit to cover in this little tutorial fight they're going to have going on. The first thing is that this tutorial fight is terrible. There's all sorts of little bugs with it that I'm not going to mention. But I'm going to mention the combat real quick. Anytime you're just kind of close to an enemy, you'll just start punching them. That's just auto attacks. And a good way to build up the arts meter, which you'll see on the bottom there, is just quickly stutter step to get yourself to get yourself through your auto attacks faster. Another thing that's important to note is that on the character we're playing as right now, Laura, her auto attacks do more damage when they do more damage just when you let them ride instead of doing the stutter step that we're talking about.
Yeah, also with Laura, though, Laura has multiple hits in her first auto attack, so if you're going to start stuff, you want her to at least get her 2 hits in first, or otherwise you won't get as much of a gauge for that.
Another thing is that Laura also has a passive to deal, have a 5% chance for any of her auto attacks to deal just bonus hits on them. And this can sometimes come into play, and other times it's just kind of like super awkward, as it can change the amount of damage you do in situations that you kind of want to do consistent amounts. I'm definitely at a weird amount of stuff. Another thing to talk about are these tutorial boxes. They actually will screw up the timing of a lot of your cancels and stuff. And whenever you do cancel things properly in this game, you'll gain extra meter for your special moves, speeding up fights quite a bit, which is very important, especially in the early game, to be canceling things properly. Anytime you see the blue ring appear around me, that is me canceling properly.
That was exactly what I was about to say, so yeah.
Yeah. So we're also going to use, this is like, I think the only instance in the any percent run where we use a level 4, and that's because we have to. Level 4s are rather interesting in that we get to play this cutscene, and anything that goes into a cutscene provides your team with full invincibility to damage. Not debuffs, but just damage. And there are other ways we do use that invincibility, but we don't use it with level 4s in any percent. So, because this is a JRPG, you already probably know that we kind of need to do a little bit of grinding. You know, grinding's a lot of fun. I'm sure everyone loves grinding over at home. You know, I'm sure this is the part of the run they always look forward to. So, you know, so while we're grinding, I guess we could talk a little bit more about just kind of the basics of the game. And you can always notice down the bottom right the arts and the other things. The arts, simply put, whenever we do an auto attack, they build their meter to be able to use them. And the specials, whenever we use arts, it builds a special meter. There's several tiers of specials. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And obviously, the stronger, the higher level, the stronger it is. And they also come with different passes. All right, that was a great grinding session. I'm happy we're done with grinding for the game. We won't be able to escape farming, but grinding is one thing that we will be able to basically ignore from the rest of this point. And you might ask why we actually just fight that one enemy for the grind, because it doesn't make much sense. And the thing is that what it does is it gives us access to the second art for both Laura and Jin, which makes the next fight where we have to fight something that's about 5 levels above ours is a lot much easier. So we're getting up to the standard first JRPG town. It's already burnt to the ground before we got here. I'm happy they skipped that part really quickly. And this is also where the game introduces collecting. Collecting is integral to the run, and you might ask why that is. And we're going to have forced quests later on, and we really either get the option of doing a lot of fights or doing some collecting. And collecting we can do early on, and it saves us time, versus doing a lot of the fights where enemies have inflated HP. We also have the crafting menu here. Every character in the game has a different set of things they can craft. Jin, for instance, just kind of cooks food and stuff. I guess a quick note about mashing in this game, because it's kind of weird compared to other games I've played. The first thing is that whenever these tutorial boxes pop up, the only button we can press to get the text to go forward is the A button. Whenever we're talking to an NPC, we can use A and B, and whenever we're in a cutscene, we can use the start and A to skip it. I don't think I've ever played a game where there's like multiple ways to mash through text, dialogue, scenes, and stuff of the sort. This is also the quick tutorial for the overworld abilities. Those come into play every once in a while. Not as detrimental in this game as they are in the main game. In the main game, they're actually quite infamous for being kind of annoying. Did not get the Sandupa. So, like I mentioned with collections earlier, they're integral to the run, and one thing I really do need from these bugs is a Sandupa. There's like 7 different chances to get one just coming up ahead in the next sections, but it's always nice to get it early. Oh, I did not get it. Hopefully this doesn't get silly with that. Okay, that was good. So this is a quick menu for the next fight coming up. This next fight is really RNG. We could just kind of die to it if it chooses to kill us. Or we could just lose a lot of time if it chooses to do so. Basically, it's a big mean jerk and we can't do much about it. So this is also the first fight we have access to Topple. Topple in the Xenoblade game is kind of just easily the best debuff you can put on an enemy. It puts them on the ground, it usually turns their evasion to 0, and it just enables a lot extra damage dealing. Unfortunately, we missed it here, so we're not going to get it.
Yeah, there's like an order of operations to that, and that's a lot of the driver combo stuff, so you'll start off breaking an enemy, and then once an enemy is broken, you can topple it. And then from there on, as you'll see later in the game, once it's toppled, you can then launch it into the air, and it'll be spinning around in the air, and it's kind of funny looking sometimes. And then from there, you can smash it back to the ground, and if you can get all 4 of them, it does pretty good damage. So it looks like Polecat got the break there.
Yeah, we should be able to turn this into the topple.
And there's the topple.
And then Jin's tier 2 special pretty nicely has bonus damage on toppled enemies.
So this game is kind of like the first Xenoblade Chronicles 2 if you've played that, where you'll gain experience normally through fights, but you only level up resting. Where in the first Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that was in inns. Here it's at campsites. So in order to level up, you have to use a campsite and then rest, and then it'll let you level up.
Yeah, to go into a little bit more specifics with that, you will get some experience from fights, but you'll get a lot more experience from quests, just exploring and other things of the sort. And the game considers this bonus experience, and you apply that yourself. So this is the Mithra Adam fight. The big thing about this fight is that Adam is really good at dodging things, and we really hope he doesn't dodge things a lot after we fight him. We take out Mithra first because she's bad at dodging, so let's just pick on the weak ones.
So another interesting thing to have noted here, especially for those who played the original Xenoblade 2 and not this, is that you notice like Adam and Mithra are all each using their own weapons and don't have an affinity bar. Like that's the little gold glowy thing between Laura and Jin right now that Polecat has. And And everybody in Xenoblade 2 would have that kind of stuff, and they would pass weapons back and forth. They don't do that here because Laura and Jin actually invented that in canon story because poor.
Because poor, yeah, it's probably the right word. There's even a point where, like, in this cutscene right here, where like Adam's like, "Whoa, that was a crazy." It's like, we should try that.
Mm-hmm. And actually, he asks them what made them come up with that, and Laura basically says, "We were broke and couldn't afford another weapon." And so out of necessity, they toss their weapons back and forth and stuff like that. And actually, that's what causes the Tier 4 special. And so once you start acquiring party members, until they start learning that maneuver and doing that maneuver, they don't get Tier 4 specials.
Do we have a moment for a quick donation?
Yeah, sure.
We've got $1 from Lightning Leon, who says, "Good luck on the run, Polecats. Please coach me someday."
Quick shout out to Lightning Leon. He offered to do commentary for this until he realized it was an in-person event, and unfortunately was not able to make it. We just did some like shenanigans there. It's not very important. It clearly will not come into immediate play whatsoever. You know, like I just sometimes, you know, I just feel like flying. I got a bad rhythm here.
That is certainly a thing.
Okay, so that was pretty poor, but that was a zombie jump right there. So there's a weird state in this game where if you press all your trigger buttons, and then it's like, oh jeez, I'm so tired I can't remember. It's down plus X, and when you do that, you go into a state called zombie hover. And in order to, if you put zombie hover on two characters in the DLC specifically, you can switch between them, and it will reset your grounded state while you're in the air, letting you jump for 1 frame. Which sounds pretty difficult to get those jumps to land, but it can be relatively consistent just because the timing is consistent. The part that's actually difficult is the location of our driver, who also for some reason has an effect on these, and we don't know why. Oh goodness, I am tired. I do apologize, this is not an easy trick.
I know the speedrun for the original Xenoblade 2 uses zombie hover for like one spot where you fall a very, very large distance. And one of the things that zombie hover, one of the things zombie hover, I'm also very tired, lets you do is fall basically any distance and not take damage from it.
Yeah, they use it for a fall that saves like 4 minutes, but they have also found out that zombie hover in a lot of ways is very broken and can do a lot of different clips with it. And it's kind of like taking a lot of like small time saves into the main game, which is pretty funny. But in this game, there's pretty much just the climb here that we're doing and one clip that's useful. Another thing that's important to note is you might be thinking, okay, you jump forever, so now you can go anywhere. And the answer to that is yes, we can go anywhere, but the cutscenes and the story triggers and all that stuff is not loaded. The Xenoblade games are all pretty notorious for being kind of difficult to just like sequence break them. We found a lot of ways to kind of like get really end game stuff in all of the games, with the exception of like Xenoblade X, which is like open world, so everything's already there. But anyways, the way the game is designed is that you can't really get to the next cutscene trigger before activating the one previous. There we go, now we're getting height. And that's just another example of Laura's location just affects our ability to be able to do these, and we're not sure why. Okay, we only have one more big one coming up here. This is the hardest one to usually set up. I wouldn't be surprised if I have to go with the janky setup. Yeah, let's go with the janky setup. Please do enjoy the jump sound effect that the characters make whenever they jump.
I mean, if you've ever watched a Zelda game, you're probably used to it.
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like Link when he's doing things.
You know, sometimes I do like to switch to the chosen language for the game because, you know, sometimes English is just, you know, more enjoyable to listen to the jump noises. Sometimes, you know, you feel like the Japanese jump voices. This is a particularly poor climb. Though we haven't been teleported yet, that's one other thing to mention is Laura affects this in a lot of ways, and we still don't know why. And another thing that could just happen is at some point we can just teleport to Laura's location, and it's just kind of like, well, okay. We are not getting okay. Oh, okay. That
was-
just happened.
That was the teleport to
Yeah,
her location.
that's
There
the
you go.
teleport right there. Goodness me, I am not getting this right now. Laura's location's bad. Aw, come on, where's my height? Oh, that is rough. There are a few ways to approach this. You could do the jumps all the way from the bottom up to the top, but you do run the risk of being teleported at any moment, and you do need to do it quite a bit. Doing this for extended periods of time tends to hurt your hands too, just because of the way you have to kind of hold your controller funky. This is particularly poor. I did not expect to struggle on this so much today.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what he's talking about with like the hand, how the holding this controller can hurt the hand, he's got to press right on the left D-pad, the left Joy-Con like D-pad buttons in order to switch his active blade, and then also time that jump with the B button. And yeah, so he's doing that with one hand since you can't really see him, so he's kind of toggling his hand like this.
Yeah, there's, I guess, shout-outs to Gren in the community as well. He tried to learn this route, and his hands just couldn't do it. I felt pretty bad for him.
So,
And there's a good example of just falling infinitely. But yeah, we finally were able to get that quick travel point. I think that took me like 2 minutes to get that, or maybe even 3 or 4, and still we're probably going to come out even on time, because the alternative for doing that also takes quite a bit of time. So we're just kind of collecting some kind of like mid-game equipment here, along with some other stuff that's just conveniently nearby. I think there is an insect point. I'm still short on the sand dupa. Still didn't get it. Oh, Zandupa? Oh, there we go, we got it. So yeah, the game also tells you that before you're supposed to get to this section that there's some sort of like I don't know, disease here if you come early. Or if you come without getting some sort of medication.
yeah, the desert fever, yep.
Yeah, the desert fever. I don't feel like I have a fever. I feel pretty fine, actually.
Oh, zombie hover. There we go.
Unless the fever causes you to clip through the ground. Oh, there we go. So for anybody who's played this game, you probably know what this area is. It takes a lot of time to collect all the necessary items to even like enter this room, and it has like endgame equipment in it. So it was pretty. Did I get the? I did, must have. So it was kind of funny when we were just able to find a way to clip into there.
さて何しに来たんだっけ。
So now we're just gonna kind of equip the stuff we just found. And you can kind of see the attack values are a little higher than what they used to be by a tiny bit. Even though we do have like much higher attack value powers now, they don't apply to the drivers, so they kind of just be cheerleaders for a little bit while the blades are much stronger. One thing that is notable from the stuff that we grabbed is it did not include any form of like big tank boost or anything, like big defensive boost with it, so we're still relatively frail, although these early fights aren't going to last long enough for to die to any of them, but there are some mid-game and definitely late-game fights that we could die to.
So one of the things I think I love in casual play of this is how they use Mithra's original outfit through some cutscenes, and then there are other cutscenes where you can tell they basically just pasted on the Xenoblade 2, the original game's outfit, including the missing piece of Mithra's core crystal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I noticed it when I was playing through it, and I was just like, wow. I don't think Adam needed half of her core crystal. I don't remember that part of the story. But you'll see some cutscenes where she's not wearing black leggings and you can see her legs and stuff like that.
Oh, that's just from we collect a kind of like a core chip earlier on that is basically passives that you can put onto your blades.
The massive melee mithril.
Yep.
Mithra.
That's actually used in the run.
But actually the core crystal chunk is missing too in that outfit or whatever. I didn't realize it was the core chip that did it because I guess I wasn't paying that much attention.
It was labeled for Mithra.
Right. I mean, true. And it was in the other game too.
So here we're going to get the introduction to the community menu and quests and stuff of that sort. And whenever you do a quest in this game, you basically make friends. Do you like having friends?
Yeah, having friends is cool.
We're going to make 48 friends by the end of this run, so I hope you really are in need of some friends. And that animation you saw there where it kind of like showed us like we met a new NPC, we enabled an animation to skip the meeting them. Unfortunately, when they become our friends, they'll still show us an animation. We can't turn that animation off. We're talking to this girl who really likes Barney stones. I was really expecting them to look like purple dinosaurs, but they don't. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Actually, I was a little confused and then disappointed.
I chuckled when I saw that because I was like, oh, haha, Blarney Stone. And then immediately got over it.
In the normal any percent, we actually do a few of those fights just because they're required to get to the final boss. In glitchless, we just skip them, so it's fun. But there is still the one right up ahead that we have to do. I am short on cottonwood branch. I have enough for early game, but I'll have to keep in mind for that later. So the main things we equipped was not only the new weapon, but also the core chip called, I think it's like Arts Boost Plus or something like that. It makes the first art used in combat do bonus damage. That bonus damage is actually pretty useful in a run, just because it saves us a few seconds in a few places, and we need to pick up those core chips anyways. So we have another short fight coming up right here. It's just going to be more of kind of the same, just using auto attacks. Another thing that's important to note about some of our early game arts and abilities is that some of them are AoE, some of them are not. And usually when we do have a chance to use them as an AoE, we will try to. Let's see, come on, so. Got them all. So only one character got the gold chip so far, and the gold chip is actually probably the nicest equipment that we got for run, just kind of like security and consistency. And the reason for this is because whenever you equip that, it improves the drop rate of items. So a lot of the farming we have to do later, it will be like, okay, we have to kill this specific number. We don't have to like go around killing extras and be like, oh, hey, you know, I need this many at this time. It's like, no, I get 2 every time I kill something. So it's pretty effective at just neutering the RNG for enemy drops. Unfortunately, it does not do the same for collections, so we'll be doing a lot of collections still. We made a friend.
All right. There he is.
You know, out of all the friends we make in this game, I think he's the one I remember what he wanted the least. I know I was beating up those wolves, but I don't remember why.
Oh, because he couldn't get across the bridge because they were blocking it, is why.
But wait. We were going that way, and he came to us from this way.
Right, but he has to go that way to collect something, I think, is what it was.
Oh, goodness, that's
And
so
they were
confusing.
guarding the bridge, so he couldn't get across. But that bridge, wasn't that the busted bridge that you chopped the tree to get over? So it's fixed now? That's
No,
the
no,
one-
no, no,
that was
no.
a
It was the
different
one that
bridge.
had wolves on it. That we just did that fight.
No, I know. But I thought that I for some reason I was like when I got to that area, my brain was like, wasn't that the bridge that was broken that we had to walk the log across? And now it's there and fixed and it's fine. But maybe not.
See, I like this girl who just likes Barney Stones better. It's way
Yeah.
easier. It's like, I like Barney Stones. Okay, I'll go find you one. We made another friend.
Mm-hmm.
We are making friendly friends today.
I don't know. I think just because the Napons amuse me in general. I like that green Napon right there. That's like totally a blade and totally a crackjack merc.
Oh, the roly-poly guy?
A crackerjack merc. Yeah.
He used to be in the run until we realized he was very, very slow to do his quest.
Yeah.
So we don't make friends with him anymore. You know, like, Xenoblade Torna runs are just about how fast you can make 48 friends.
I don't know. I like the way the Napon dialogue. I don't know. It just amuses me. The way they talk.
So this is probably the biggest section for collections, and you really do actually have to learn how to count things quite a bit. I oftentimes, when I was learning this game, I had just kind of a list of the items we needed to collect, and I called it the shopping list for a good reason, because there's a lot of things on it. Included are things like Crabble Carapace, Sticky Stick Insect, Scorpions, Fresca Flower. This list doesn't end anytime soon. Hot Orange. I don't even know what a Hot Orange is.
Right.
Yeah. Hysolith. I think I pronounced that right. I think it's like some sort of flower. This is like, you named so many things, I don't even know what some of them are. Oh, no.
I mean, it must be whatever they make orange chicken out of at Chinese restaurants because they always claim it's spicy.
Oh.
Even though it's really not.
No, it's not. You're right. You got me there. Okay, not bad. So yeah, a lot of these collections are for much later in the game. And really, this is like the main time we'll be in Gormont, so we have to do it now. There's also a good reason to do it now is because there's quite a few friends we can make in Gormont, and they're not too slow, so we'll be trying to do our best to make friends here.
Yeah, like our boy Doc here just wants you to kill a couple things.
Yeah. He doesn't like really big dogs or wolves. What do they call them? No, Ferris.
Yeah, the Ferris, right.
I don't even... Wolf is so lazy, and Ferris is like, I don't understand. I love this game. Anyways.
Actually, yeah, I do too.
I'm happy you made it then.
No, like when I played the original, I had never. So I played Xenogears growing up when it came out,
Oh yeah.
and I'd played Xenosaga 1, but I'd never really played the other two.
Uh huh.
But I still haven't played Chronicles 1, and this came out for Switch, or the original came out for Switch, and I was like, man, that looks really cool, but can I really play that without having played the first one? And I asked somebody who I trust about there, and like, oh yeah, no problem. And I was like, cool, and I got it, and I fell in love with the game, so I had to get this too.
Yeah, Xenoblade 2 for me was a little odd. Like I always felt like the mechanics just like they weren't bad, but they also like didn't make much sense. In this, your blades actually fight with you, and it's a lot better that way. If you play the main game, like you'll see like the drivers holding the weapon, and like the blade just kind of like posing in the background, looking cool. Here's my power, you know. So it makes me kind of go, yeah. I do have a preference for the combat in this one quite a bit.
I would say I do too. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was interesting how they incorporated a canonical spin into the combat of the original with these two. I thought that was pretty neat.
So one weird thing about activating cutscenes in this game is you can't do it in the air. So we just kind of like stand on the tip of that rock, kind of like Lion King or something, and it works. So works for me.
And so one of the features of this game that might throw you if you're a new player is when blades learn abilities. If you don't go into the menu and look at the ability chart like Polecats just did, you won't actually know the ability yet, even if you learned it.
It's really annoying because it adds a lot of extra menuing too. Okay, so we're gonna be coming up on the Bridget fight here, and the simple strategy of this fight is hopefully keep the ads close to her, and then hopefully Mithra presses any of her buttons. They're all AoEs. They all would kill the ads pretty quickly. And then hopefully we can take out Bridget with a simple fusion combo. Can you explain fusion combo?
From what I remember of fusion combos, when you're in mid driver combo, the blades can perform, and you perform a special. It will start a fusion combo and it'll increase the damage output, and then if you can get another special within that time frame of the driver combo, it does that's the main fusion, and it does a lot more damage.
Yeah, you just saw launch ice there, and the reason we want to kill with a fusion combo there is if everything's dead and we use a special in there, the game tries to start explaining what blade combos are, and with like text boxes and stuff, and that wastes like 5 seconds. So it's notably a little bit faster to kill with the fusion combo.
And since driver combos can happen pretty quickly, especially I mean they can be blink and you miss them, because if you do the break with Laura and then immediately Vanguard switch into Jin, that does a topple, and then Adam has just a regular launch move as one of his arts, and then Adam switching into Mithra will initiate a smash, so it can just be bam 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 bam, and then you've got to still filter in specials, so it can be hard to pull off fusion combos sometimes. You have to get good timing on it.
Yeah, it's pretty. So each of the like main drivers, that is, we just picked up Hugo. We also have Adam and Laura, and they each kind of have their own piece of the driver combo, which is Laura has break, Hugo has topple, and Adam has launch. But anytime that a character does a switch, they also have access to the driver combos. For example, as we mentioned earlier, switching to Jin is a topple, switching to Mithra is a smash, and switching to Bridget would be a break. Those of which are probably the most useful in the run.
And I think switching to Haze is a smash too, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Switching to Hugo as well is also a smash. Those are all 3 smashes in the game. There are none after that.
It's a Roppel.
Ropel? Roppel?
Something like that.
I just call it land shark.
Yeah, I guess so. Kind of looks like one.
Iris is cool. That was really good.
I mean, really, some of the names are questionable, but it can't be any worse than Zelda calling bats keys.
I don't know. There's those like turkey-looking enemies. They call them Turkins in this.
Oh yeah, the Turkins.
Turkins. Always run away from the Turkins that talk. They're creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of just doing some main story quest stuff here. We'll be doing a little bit of side quests after we get through this main stuff. But we do have a quick fight with Gort. I like to call him Ugly Gort because he's not very pretty. I'm just telling the truth.
I mean, it is true.
It is true. Yeah, it's very true. The main goal of this fight is to kind of AoE his little friends near him. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. We'll have to see what they want to do. Where's the break at?
And at this point, Jin's off playing war with the other people, like in the strategy room, talking strategies and stuff. So it's Laura. So Laura only has access to Haze right now. This is why you're seeing that. And actually, Adam and Hugo are both doing that too, so they're not even here.
This is a pretty slow fight, unfortunately. I've had perfect fights where you get all three of the ads all at once and hit them with win 2 and it's over. But there's a lot of times where it'll just kind of be goofy like that. That looks sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing I skipped that.
Yeah, if you skip it, it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the kind of story is Gort, I guess, played pseudo stepdad to Laura and was very abusive towards her. And then when Laura awakened Jin, and they'd had enough and tried to get away, Jin cut off his arm, so that's why he has a robot arm. And in that cutscene, isn't that where Jin cuts off his arms again? Or is it later?
Yeah, I think no. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And to be a little more specific as to why this all happened, Gort originally stole Jin when he was quote unquote the core crystal. I guess the core crystal is some lore we should explain.
Okay. Yeah. So, in this game, if you're not familiar, and this in the original game, blades all come from what's called a core crystal, and a driver is somebody who can awaken the blade out of the core crystal. And what will happen in-game canon is that if you as a driver die, the blade goes back into the core crystal and doesn't die, but then loses all memory of the previous life with that other or with that driver. And so Jin was in his core crystal having not had a driver having awakened him at that period of time, and then, as Polecat said, Gort stole him, and Laura was able to awaken him. And so blades basically are, for lack of a better term, immortal in that sense. They don't really die; they just go back to their core crystal and can be reawakened at a later time.
Yeah, with the obviously the offset of not having any of their memories anymore. So I'm rearranging my arts here. It doesn't have any particular use right now, but later on we'll be using quite specifically some passive abilities that instantly give us arts at the start of a fight, and obviously some fight arts are better to have other than others. Okay, there we go. Bird clams. We haven't made that many friends yet here.
No, we haven't.
All right, I'll go try to make some friends.
You make friends with that sniper guy? He hits pretty hard.
We actually will be making friends with that guy. I don't know if I want to do the goofy strat or if I want to do just the regular strat. The two options in that fight we'll get to it a little bit later, are just get shot in the face or play as you go. Which one of those sounds a lot more attractive than the other.
This is actually I found this a super funny quest because this guy is homesick and he just wants a plate of food from his hometown, and so he gives you the recipe. You have Jin make it, and Jin's actually a pretty damn good cook.
Yeah.
So you make it, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! It's nothing like back home."
I
and
know.
he literally wants you to make a terrible plate for him because that's how they make it back home. And then, so then you make Mithra make it because Mithra can't cook. And everybody always kind of memes on her about how bad she is at cooking, and then she keeps trying and trying, and they won't let her near and stuff. But she apparently makes good pastries, so she's a baker, just not a cook. Because
Well, I
that's-
mean, at least she's got one fan of her cooking.
I mean, because that's what that's her crafting ability is pastries, basically desserts, and so nobody complains about that. So I guess it must be okay.
負けられない戦いだね。
I find it pretty neat that not only do the drivers have crafting abilities that the blades do too, it kind of adds a little nice touch to the game.
使えそうなものは
What did I get here? I did not get what I needed.
It's like Adam and Hugo make a lot of the key items you'll need.
使えそうなもの
Yeah, we crafted one of those earlier. We crafted the speed flag, which gives you plus 5%
何
move
かあり
speed.
そうだ
I hopefully don't need to explain too much why I crafted that one. It's
Right.
pretty useful.
So I assume you have, yeah, because it's main story quest, so you have to make the silver. Why am I blanking on the word? Probably,
The Silver Seeker.
yeah, that's it.
That is actually not a main story quest,
Oh.
but there are so many easy to do quests and easy to pick up friends by doing that we choose to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I actually went my first playthrough without making that. I was like, where the heck do I get the stuff for this?
Yeah, it actually took me a while to find the Crabbles.
Yeah, I was like, where? Oh, Crabble. Okay, let's see if we have all the stuff. I have not been counting very well, so.
腹を空かせて食べてみてくれできたぞ いい味にしやがった
That's pretty normal to be short on that, actually. Unfortunately, we need like 3 puzzle tree wood, and we only have like 2 chances to even pick up 3 puzzle tree wood early on. So there's just not much we can do about that.
やっと着いた。
よし
So we found the little kid, but apparently he also has a sister, so we're gonna go find little sister too.
使え
This
そう
is honestly one of the weirdest like required quests of the game.
Oh yeah.
Even if it wasn't required, though, we'd probably choose to do it because by the end of the game, we get 3 friends from it. I like friends.
Yeah. That's actually why I was thinking the Seeker was the required because it's over there by the kid.
無駄ね。
And for some reason I was thinking it was part of that quest instead of being just the dude that's standing over by the lake.
いい戦だね。パニッシュメントレイ。
そうだな
そこ。力を2つに。かけろ。
ついてこれるか俺たちに
So these fights here are just to get us this Ferris piece. We need these for quests later on. But there's nothing else really much to it.
少し強くなれたみたいね。
Please give me item I need. Thank you. Okay, there it is.
何かありそうだ
So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, just a lot of the drops and stuff are pretty random. So we have to spend time actually reading what we pick up to make sure we get the right stuff. I really like how you do collections in Xenoblade X, which is the game, which is like the game before too. Because every time it collected something, it would show it in the bottom right what you collected. This it just kind of like floats away, and you're like, what am I reading?
I haven't played X yet either.
It's a goofy game. It's really silly. Okay, we need to go here. So we talked to an adventurer earlier. She asked for us to check up on her, so we may as well go check up on her now. I think she's doing all right.
Yeah. She's just really hungry at this point, I think, if this is where I'm thinking.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Super hungry.
使えそうなものは
Unless you're already at the way tree part. No, you're not.
Nope.
使えそうなものは
Oh, you're right. She's not doing too well.
Yep. She's like,
So this is
"I'm
one thing I
so-"
really don't understand is she's starving to death, and she says specifically she'll only eat spicy food. I don't
Yeah.
think beggars can be choosers.
Right. She's like, I need this spicy dessert or this spicy meal. Bring one to me, please.
And then we bring her sandwiches, which I'm pretty sure are spicy, right?
Oh yeah,
何かありそうだ
plenty.
I guess we put like some salami. I don't know.
I mean, you could have put hot sauce on it or
Hot
something.
sauce. Okay.
Sprinkle a little Franks on there.
何かあり
You
そう
Some jalapenos.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that too. Slice up some jalapenos, spread them on the sandwich. You good?
Sounds pretty good. I'd say I'm hungry, but I'm too tired to be hungry right now.
何かありそうだ
I was in the beggars can't be choosers park this morning too because the only thing quick that was open was McDonald's.
Oof. I
Yeah.
feel ya. So we're collecting a lot of like just
使えそうな
tree points here, which again, you know, it's for later on. The main thing we're looking for from them is puzzle tree wood, muscle branch, deer wood, and memento branch. They're all required. I don't even know if I have enough Ruska flour.
Looked like you got one there.
I did get one there.
Nice.
I know I had at least like 4 because I already used 4 of them, but I need 6 for the run. Okay, so you know, we talked to Lyda at that tree. She named the tree. That was pretty fun. Now we're gonna go talk to Lyda again. It's been a lot of fun following her around.
And she's all hyped up right now because she actually beat a monster.
Yeah. These actually are pretty like later game enemies too, if I remember correctly. So I'm happy I didn't have to fight it. It's pretty nice of her to do that for me.
And it's kind of interesting, like if you're playing this casually and reading the story, her blade memes on her a lot,
ありがとう
Oh yeah.
and
感謝し
I
ます
would not call them friends, but they
No.
are our friend now.
no, but when you start talking to her there, she's all like, "I just beat my first monster, blah, I'm so happy," and then her blade's all like, "I think it actually just
今
kind
度
of
は
like
自
tripped
分
and
た
fell
ち
on
の
your
力
sword,
で
but
どうに
whatever."
かしなさいよ
That's the same love and support I get from my family.
やっと着けた
I mean, to be fair though, her blade has cat ears, so if she's part cat, and cats are jerks,
Is that true?
I mean, maybe. At least, you know, the
Is
cat
this-
in my household's a pretty huge jerk. So,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Wait, how huge, Lake?
like a very
こ
huge.
れで任務
Oh.
完了となります
All right, we're gonna do the fight the silly way. So this guy here, he has like just this weird attack where he just kind of shoots people in the face, and it does like 1,500 plus damage.
Yeah, that was the most surprising part of this fight to me. Where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fight this guy. Bam! Okay, I'm almost dead.
Yeah. Well, so the nice thing is that he just straight up won't shoot Hugo. He just kind of like looks at Hugo like, well, I can't shoot the Emperor, I guess. I don't know. He doesn't want to do it though.
That is really cool, and I didn't know that because I just ran in with Laura and got shot in the face, and then switched into Jin real quick so I didn't lose all that HP. That's another thing we probably should mention is that, so you'll notice when they're taking damage, there's a blue and a red bar at the top left there. So what happens is that the red bar is like a temporary health meter thingy. So like if you switch between your blade and driver while you still have that red, you'll actually recover that health. So that is definitely a handy thing to know when you're playing this game because it can save your bacon in a couple instances where, because if your blue meter goes down, because that's your actual health, even if you've got red left, if your blue meter goes to 0, you're just done. And you can avoid that by switching out.
Yeah, a lot of late game enemies, they have a rather peculiar ability to do a lot of immediate big damage, but it's almost always red health. So usually you need to learn what to switch around. It is pretty interesting that the game really forces you to switch too. That switching mechanic was unique to Torna, and as a result, it's kind of built around it. And it's a lot of fun because of it, if you ask me.
Yeah, I thought it was a very interesting mechanic. It was part of what I liked about it.
We made another friend.
All right, it's Doc.
やりましたね
So one thing that is important when you actually finish quests and stuff is not to mash A too much, because you'll end up talking to the NPC again. And some of them talk a lot. That guy in particular talks quite a bit.
Yeah, he does.
He is, how would you say, verbose?
A little bit.
さて
Oh goodness, I forgot to craft the Silver Seeker. I am silly.
So Silver Seeker lets you open those old machines and collect the. There's no salvaging in this game. I don't think. I haven't seen any yet.
No, there is no
So
salvaging
this is
in
like
this one.
the answer to salvaging from Xenoblade 2 is that you just use Seekers to open machines, and then you get those kind of parts, those junk parts that people will want and that you'll need to build stuff.
Yeah, you actually will miss out on a lot of quests if you don't get that early on, like I did. So it's really weird that they don't make such a big deal about this thing before you can like get it and stuff, but I don't know. Developers act in mysterious ways. They want to pull your attention to things that don't seem as important. This guy just wants a machine part, so we're going to hand it to him. We made another friend.
Another friend. All right.
I'm pretty happy to be finishing this section soon. This Gormott section is not execution-wise difficult, but you do need to do a lot of just on-the-fly routing. And that's just because the RNG can go in so many different ways that sometimes the best way to keep going forward is just to go as fast as you can. Or the best way to keep going forward is to like reroute yourself mid-run. So that can become a little tricky. Oh, that was the wrong character. So this enemy is quite a bit above our, like, this enemy is actually pretty high level that we're going to fight, but it doesn't really do any damage, so it's not really all that threatening. It's nothing like the Bathine fight where like you can just die. Like this one's just like you can't really die. It can really only waste time.
Oh yeah, this fight. So that blade next to the building there is Roly Poly's blade, the Crackerjack Merc.
Oh, the blade version of Roly Poly, I guess.
Yeah, the blade version. So what they are basically is they're tutorial quest givers, because they end up trying to teach you like blade and driver combos and stuff like that. So like Roly Poly will have you do driver combos for quests, and the blade will have you do blade combos for the quests. And it's kind of one of the ways the game tries to teach you how to do those.
And then at the end of it, they have you do fusion combos. And that was one of the reasons that we used to do that quest, was we could do it while doing a lot of other things in the game. But it quickly became apparent that enemies die too fast when we were able to get the end game equipment early. So,
All right.
yeah.
What I end up actually doing in this area for doing the blade combos for that blade is I end up just fighting that named elite NP or monster that's right there by
Believe
the
it
dock.
or not, that used to be the backup for when we were short on those.
Oh, wow.
It had enough health to just kind of punch it like a punching bag.
Yep. That's what I did to do the multiple level 3 blade combos that I had to do for that quest. Just casually. This is a fun game. If you haven't played the Xenoblade 2 games, you should. They're really good.
Yeah, all the Xenoblade games have really unique combat that if you're willing to get into them, they really will kind of like just show you just how much in depth they can be. You know, I've mentioned a lot of things just kind of like just at first glance kind of stuff because I've forgotten just how basic that is. But for someone who's new to it, they'll kind of think that's way outlandish.
I also feel like I don't know. In my opinion, the story was actually pretty charming.
I personally love the story for Torna. I'm not as big as the story on 2. But, you know, once again, personal opinion, personal preference. So now we're making our way over to Adam's home. This home's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Adam lives out in the middle of nowhere, apparently. What they all joke about.
He just has a castle in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Does he have subjects? Like, there's only like one village up the ridge. Oh no, I've thought of way too many questions to think about now.
I mean, he's a prince and he's 4th in line to the throne, so I would assume he has them somewhere.
Oh no. Now we're thinking about it. Oh. Well, we're doing another small collection quest here. This one's not nearly as bad as some of the other ones. The main reason for this is because now Bridget has gotten the field skill for collections. Every blade has a kind of like a field skill for collections. Quite specifically, Bridget gives us increased chances of getting bonus flowers and bonus vegetables, which is just ironically the things we need right now. Oh, okay, I got it.
なんか楽しくなってきた。
What I think threw me for a loop the first time I played this is how basically how exactly Hugo looks like Nile. I was like, wait a minute, Nile can't be 500 years. Oh, it's Hugo. Okay.
So yeah, for those who don't know, Nile is kind of a side character in the base game.
He's also the Emperor of Moradane, which is Hugo is in this game. So they basically are the same character, but in this game, Hugo is a driver, and I believe Nile was not able to be a driver, so that's why Morag has Bridget.
I think Nile was.
Oh wait, no,
he
Nile
was
had,
a driver,
yeah.
but like he decided that he wasn't a very good fighter.
That's right, because he had Aegeon until he gave her him up. Yeah.
I will admit there are a lot of little kid characters in the Xenoblade series that are smart enough to realize that they're not very good at fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. That's one of the few instances where skipping actually does not save any time whatsoever. Okay, so this is going to be the first instance of using our bonus experience for rest. And the main reason we're resting right now, if you don't want to know, is that we're going to be going up against an enemy that's level 30 in a little bit.
Yep.
And that's not very easy to do at level 15, so we're going to pretty quickly give everyone levels. It's also the reason we choose not to use the camp until now, to give Hugh as much bonus experience as possible. Because we did that early breakout, only Adam and Laura was with us, and only they got the bonus experience. So Hugo's a little bit behind, just a tiny bit. And I guess to give a quick idea for all the roles in the party, Hugo really is just kind of the tank of the party. Adam is kind of DPS plus some CC abilities, and Laura's kind of just an all-around everything.
Yeah, it's depending on who you're using, because Hayes is kind of a healer, whereas Jin is obvious DPS.
Yeah, and Laura herself comes with some utility skills as well, like her break and the ability to reduce aggro on her.
Hannah selling. That makes me laugh. Like casually, I came in here and got demolished in this room right here.
Oh, I just turn aggro off and I cheat, so.
Oh, nice.
For whatever reason, when you do turn aggro off, it is important to note. Oh, I'll go here. It is important to note that, like named enemies, like kind of like boss enemies that are on the field, they will still very much target you if they see you. But that guy, he's looking away from you, so he's not gonna see you.
I guess I didn't mess around in the menus too much because I didn't know you could just turn off all aggro.
I think that was like, I think it's like after you beat the game first time. I can't remember what it is, but no, wait, you can do that from the beginning. But Xenoblade 2, you have to get the DLC before you can turn aggro off. It's kind of weird that way. So this fight is just kind of really just use AoEs and hope we don't get bursted down.
As you see, there was an example of the switching stuff, as Laura had very low blue bar health, but had a lot of red bar, and then when you switched into Jin, it all came back. And that's how the game kind of expects you to play. as a way of keeping your health up.
Unfortunately, these gorillas kind of just decide to split up, which makes this fight a little longer. But
私たちならもっとやれる。みんなまだまだ余裕がありそう。
But yeah, if we didn't pick up all those levels, we probably would have died there just from them punching us.
助けになれて本当によかった。
So we're gonna get Hugo back here, and this is gonna be like the kind of the first big menu of the run. There's only really 2 menus I'd consider like kind of big, and it's this one here where we're gonna do a little bit of extra fun stuff, and we're also gonna use the quick travel point we picked up earlier when we were flying around and stuff.
さて、次はどこを目指しましょう。
So the first thing we're gonna do here is go to the infinity charts.
ちょっと強くなったみたい。
So we didn't get really a chance to explain the infinity chart the first time we saw it because it was like only up for 5 seconds. But this is just a set of passives for every character.
Yeah, and they'll unlock as you just get more. You see that when you unlock 2 skills, it's opened up the second set.
成長した気が
And
す
then
る。
when you unlock 5 skills, it unlocks the third set. And basically, blade leveling up is really a lot of just that. Their affinity chart will expand as you fight with them. So each rank or each step out for a blade is based on trust, and you just gain trust via fighting with them and doing quests and stuff. And so a lot of that unlocks. I mean, there's some characters that unlock. At least I know in Xenoblade 2, the original one, there's like Rock unlocks as you level up the mercenary group, but a lot of the times the blades just level up trust based on fighting and stuff, and then their abilities will level up based off of doing things like whether you use a particular art or open a certain number of treasure chests or something like that.
My least favorite ones are kill a specific monster.
Yeah.
Those ones are like, oh, I have to go find where this one enemy is in the game. It's great.
It could be as simple also as eat a dessert.
Yeah, we actually will be doing that.
I think Mithra has a couple of those where it's like eat a dessert or eat a meat or something like that.
油断しなきゃいい加減だね。
So just some quick farming here before we go into this fight. This fight, we have a chance to die. It exists. It can happen. I hope it doesn't happen. We shall see, though.
みんな気をつけて。
It's a Jagron.
I don't even know what a Jagron is, I'm gonna be honest. It's big.
Yeah.
決めます。これで。はあ。属性攻撃とか。はあ。無駄ね。これなら決めます。遂行します。回復チャンス。はあ。私も。それ。
So we're supposed to get a fusion combo there. We didn't quite get it. We're gonna be taking a lot of damage here from Rolling Plateau. Ooh, I'm going down.
So the good news about that though is, so there's that bar above the character names on the top left. That's the party gauge, and you can revive somebody by simply using one piece of the gauge. So as long as you have one of the 3 gauges full, you can revive a person that's dead. But also if you have all 3, and this is where the game actually showcases that, and we're going to be seeing it here in a minute, is that if you have all 3 full, you're going to get, and you use it by using the plus button, it initiates a chain combo, and you can do massive amounts of damage with that if you use it properly.
The downside of chain attack is it's very slow. So we're not going to be using it in this one specifically, but we will be using it later, just because there's going to be almost no choice too.
Gotcha. But some of the tutorial text he scrolled through, because it pointed at that bar, was basically telling him, oh, you can use chain combos or chain attack here and do it right and do a bunch of damage.
That was a perfect fight. I've never had that fight go that well.
Nice.
Usually I just die and it ends up kind of like Mimi for like 30 seconds till we win. Another thing chain attack activation does is it gives you invincibility. And it's definitely intended that you use it really early there, because that enemy almost always will, like, after his first attack, go for Rolling Claw, and will hit like both Adam and Hugo, doing a lot of damage. This is like one of the first of really long loading screens that I don't know why.
And then, as part of the cutscenes we skipped through, well, another Blade showed up and now is part of Adam's team.
Right, I guess I can talk real quick about Minoth, because there's not much to mention about him. He does give us access to book crafting in the crafting menu, and yeah, that's easily the best crafting in the game. Getting bonus damage on specials is really, really good, and that's what his do. Laura also has a pretty good set too. She boosts like special recharge, but for the most part, Minoth has the best book crafting. He also has the darkness element. Every character comes with an element. The only characters without unique elements are Laura and Bridget when you start, which is actually pretty good for chain attack combos later on. We can explain that when we get to it. But the main thing you need to understand about elements is when you attack into an opposite element, you do bonus damage. And this is why Minoth ends up not being used in a run, is because he's darkness element, and a lot of late game enemies are just so happen to be darkness element. Who would have guessed the bad guys are dark? Not me.
Yeah, right. I actually thought it was like I kind of nerded out a little bit when I got to that part, because I was like, oh hey, Minoth, because you encounter Minoth in Xenoblade 2, the original game.
And he's like an old man at that point.
Yep.
He is actually he's not bad at all in this game. He actually has some really good passives to work with, but unfortunately, just because of the way the game is set up and what you have to fight, it just ends up not being useful to set up, and you get him rather late as well as another, probably the more detrimental thing about him. Because early on in the run, we had 4 really good ships, and, well, we already gave them away to 4 blades that needed them, so unfortunately there's none left for him.
That's true.
So we're kind of doing some late game preparation here, even though we're only like, I think like a little over an hour into the run. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but basically it makes the late game fights much, much faster. So we're going to be doing a shopping trip here. I don't know how common it is to go into JRPGs and just go buying stuff at shops, but we're going to be doing it once.
I think it probably just depends on the RPG.
All right, we're done shopping. It's really weird because we actually have access to a huge amount of money, and we only buy just 3 of those and we're done. This man just wanted to make meatball stew, and we're giving it to him, so it's good times.
Friendship.
Friendship.
He's like, you fed me stew, I'm your friend.
Why does he look so angry when like, he looks like some sort of like Dark Lord? He's like
you fed
in
me
his
stew.
picture.
This pleases me. This is my pleasure face.
Oh, goodness.
I am smiling on the inside.
This girl here is looking for a buried treasure. We're gonna go find it. I don't even think she wants it. I think she just wants someone to find it. Maybe she gave up. I don't remember what it is. But she tells us all the deets, so we're gonna go get that.
What's pretty handy is when there's tangible things to find on the map, and you make it an active quest, it'll give you a little direction on where to go. The meter at the top, or not really the meter, but the thing at the very top in the middle, is something that shows you the direction of like your quest stuff. So it's showing him. The purple one is this one, or is the buried treasure quest he just picked up, I believe. And the kind of pinkish red one with the 2 exclamation point sets is where he's supposed to be going for story progression. So you can, if you're kind of lost, you can just kind of try and follow that. And unless there's some weird route to get there, you'll probably get there just fine.
Yeah, another thing to note is the question mark ones are obviously for quests we haven't taken.
Right.
Like, there's a girl over there. She's like, I think she's dehydrated. We're not going to help her. I'm sorry.
She should have stayed hydrated. Then.
She should. Hail hydrate.
Excuse me.
So yeah, we're getting to kind of like the last of the required early game collections, which is like kind of like a big sigh of relief when it does finally happen, because that's really the last instance of RNG just kind of ruining a run. I am going to have to pick up some extra lilies, it seems, but it doesn't bug me too much. I'm more cautious about my cottonwood branch. So we're finally approaching the capital of this place that we're at, the Tornan Titan, I think they call this giant thing we're on.
Yeah, that's probably a thing to quickly explain. So, in the world of Arest here, most of the planet, like the actual ground of the planet, is underneath what's called the Cloud Sea. So everything is in the current world is above the Cloud Sea, and so the land masses are actually creatures called Titans, and everybody lives on them. Lives on some of the bigger ones. And
smaller ones end up being just transport.
Right. They'll use.
Imagine growing up to be a bus. That'd be
Yeah.
weird. I don't know how I feel about that. I think growing up to be a house would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah, because like for instance, like most of the time you're just like on their backs or various limbs or something like that. But then there's Uriah, and
Yeah.
they live inside it somehow.
I'm sure they just have to throw a few kids down in there to keep it going.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on, talk to me. There you go.
And then of course, what RPG wouldn't be complete without having Yggdrasil be a thing that exists in the world. So that's also a thing.
A thing we don't visit, but it does show up in cutscenes if we chose not to skip them. We also made another friend.
Nice.
So I believe before we get to the next sequence of bosses, we need to get to 16 friends. We're only a few short right now, so it shouldn't take too long.
So this is the Tornan capital, I believe, right?
Yes.
All right.
It's very pretty and very nice. I hope nothing happens to it. So we'll probably talk to one of my favorite NPCs. He's the guy with OCD, and he really wants some lamps lit up because they're not lit up. And I agree with him. They need to be on. It's crazy. Why do you have lamps that aren't lit up?
He just really loves lamp. I mean, who can blame him? It's like, I saw you light lamp.
Yeah, I know. I saw you do it right there. I was like, yeah, I was like 10 feet away. I hope you saw me. Your job is to see me, isn't it? He's a guard, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm doing my job. Congratulations.
困った時はお互い様だ。
So this person is a struggling sales lady, person, guy. I don't know. I don't know the pronoun, but
I think Napons are the same as humans as far as those.
yeah,
That
but
one
I don't
looks
know
female.
which one that one is.
That one looked
specifically.
female anyway.
The color's female.
But we don't know.
Yeah.
So.
They don't come with pronouns, so unfortunately.
No, because they refer to themselves in the third person, kind of like they're the Rock.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
気分転換になった。
さて何しに
Unfortunately, this little boy lost his cattle, and they're very big, so we're gonna go find them. There's one in there. We'll find more of those later. Now this guy, he's apparently really smart about selling stuff, so we're gonna ask for his help.
I know with Napons, like, as bad as Torra is objectively, like, in his role in the party, I always liked his his personality in the game, and like how everybody memes on him, especially when he gets like caught being kind of pervy.
散歩になりました。
Yeah, it's really awkward.
Especially when it comes to Poppy.
Yeah, it makes it even more awkward.
感謝します
Like, I understand it, but I still think it's weird. The main character Nopons in the series are pretty infamous for. Some of them find them really annoying. Some of them find them really endearing. I am pretty mixed on my feelings about them. All right, we're just gonna hope we have enough cottonwood branch. If we don't, we're gonna have to go collect some.
次はどこを目指しましょう
Hey, what kind of hat do you like better? Do you like casual caps or knitted hats better?
Casual cap, maybe.
Casual cap? Okay, we're going casual cap. Okay, we'll have to get more cottonwood eventually. Hello? Alright, so at this point, we actually have to choose a hat. We'll go casual, even though it's slower.
Oh.
There we go. He's got his casual hat on. If it makes you feel better, the knit hat is ugly too.
ありがとう
So that's the casual cap. It almost looks like a
喜
knitted hat.
んでもらえてよかったよ。
Now the knitted hat looks kind of like it's made at home.
Uh,
Oh, I need to go here first. It's hand knit. There's the word.
良い散歩になりました。
さて
It's hard to
次
think of
はど
words
こを
at
目指しましょう
what time is it now? Late a.m.
yeah.
こういうのワクワクするよね
Ooh, it's bad luck.
Yeah, it looks like you're around lunchtime here in Torna.
よっと
I'm just gonna walk to the flower point over here. I'm a little lazy. Don't feel like warping right now. So I'm really only after a couple collectibles here. I ended
こ
up
ういう
short
の
on
ワ
them.
クワクするよね
It's just how this run goes sometimes. If you want to complete a run, sometimes you just have to just sacrifice a minute to the RNG gods and you can keep going.
なんか楽しくなってきた
But that's kind of RPG speedrunning in a nutshell, really. You
Yeah,
don't really get away from it unless you're in a fully manipulated run or something.
yeah. And we have taken a look into manipulating the game, and it changes like, I think like it's like faster than every frame. So it's just like, yeah, that's not very
次はど
practical,
こを目指しましょう
unfortunately. We found that lady's treasure, and we didn't give it to her, but she wants to be our friend anyways,
私
so
は
that's cool.
陛下の指示に従ったま
I don't think I've ever met anyone like that. Just hand them a treasure map, they go find the treasure, and you're like, oh, good job. I want to be your friend now. You got all the money? Yeah. Sounds good.
今度は自分たちの力でどうに
Okay, so we have some crafting to do here.
どう作ろうかなご加護がありますように
Oh, I am short
見
on
た
lucky
目は悪
lettuce.
心を
Can I
込め
craft
て
anything
作
else
っ
here?
た料理は美味しいでしょ
書き上がったなかなかの書き上がったぞ書き上がったぞ
So I'll have to go get lucky lettuce real quick too. That is one I'm not normally ever short on, so I was a little
なんか
surprised by
楽
that.
しくなってきた
There we go, there's one.
Well, that wasn't too bad then.
Yeah. The main problem with getting into this menu and not having enough to craft with is just it takes time to get into the
ち
menu.
ょっとミスったかな
Laura gets a rather specific level here. The reason for that is because we haven't really explained Jin's tier 3 yet, but Jin's tier 3 is easily his best special, and what it does is if he's lower level than the thing you're fighting, he does bonus damage, and it's really good. So at this point, we kind of had some hints about him earlier, but now we're really actually going to get to see him. And the main villain of this game, who is Malos, he's bad. He's like kind of cartoonishly bad too.
Yeah, he kind of is.
But it makes the story really simple and easy to follow, so I don't mind it all that much.
I mean, he doesn't get much better in the original one either.
He does have some really anime cutscenes that are admittedly kind of like dumb and cringy, and I love them. So.
So for those unfamiliar, so the kind of like the background lore of the game, and it's kind of sort of, for lack of a better term, religion, is that somewhere in the in whatever the world tree, there is a being known as the Architect who is their god, and there is a character in this game by the name of Amalthus who makes his way to the world tree and climbs it because he wants to meet the Architect and talk to him. But he doesn't find the Architect, but he finds two rather unique looking core crystals, and he brings them back. And one of them is Malos, and he awakens Malos. So Amalthus is Malos' driver, but Malos just kind of goes and does whatever he wants anyway, and doesn't really listen to Amalthus. And the other core crystal he gives to Adam, and it's Mithra. And they're referred to as both of them are referred to as the Aegis, and they're like super duper powerful blades that are part of what they call the Trinity Core. There's a third crystal that isn't there. That the game never explains where it went. It's just kind of assumed that it's like off somewhere else, like another dimension or something, I guess. It's kind of the background lore. The way they kind of did it is that the Architect was a normal human and was playing around with a thing. If you've ever played Xenogears, actually, you'll be familiar with called the Zohar or the Conduit. And he plays with it a little too much, and it basically splits his reality into two dimensions. One of them being Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and one of them being Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And he's kind of in both of them at the same time.
Yeah, this fight's over. These fights are not too difficult. The main thing we're after is just topple Ultimate Aurora. Ultimate Aurora here is going to be the first example of us using a Blade Combo 3 route. And they have the added advantage of bonus damage and, well, basically just being better. They also have that freeze frame that gives you invincibility. And it makes it really easy to get fusion combos with them as well. So they're just all around good to be using. And so our main goal in these three fights that are going to be the same is we're going to go for topple into Ultimate Aurora.
次はどこを目指しましょう
It's pretty worthwhile to note that Ultimate Aurora itself will not KO, so we can get that topple.
属性攻撃の他に見てて
これはどうだ受けてみろどいてくれ受けてみろそうはいかないよ
But basically, the whole Aegis thing makes Mithra and Malus basically the two most powerful blades in the world.
Oh, I got shot. That's not good. Someone pick me up.
ラウラいつも助けられて一周面トレイル
This is really bad luck. So I am going for a break here, and enemies just have resist chance. I'm gonna die again. This is ridiculously bad luck right now.
Wow, again.
Okay, we got a break. Hopefully we should be able to end this fight. So the main reason that we try to like one-shot these fights is after they get under half health, they'll use an attack called Dark Ray Barrage, and that's just a full party wipe if it gets out. And it actually makes these fights pretty difficult.
この調子でいくぞ
少し強くなれたみたいね
So this is actually one of the few instances I look at the ground, and that's just because of basically what our N64 reasons is that the game kind of lags here, and I choose not to look at stuff.
オーガスラッシュ飛べ季節標準
させません
What's also kind of unique about this game, just from a general RPG standpoint, is it's one of those rare games where you actually don't buy like weapons and armor at all. You basically just get accessories, and each character can equip 2 accessories. As far as like casual play goes.
Yeah, with the only exception being, of course, the weapons to the blades.
Oh, true, because of the core chips,
Yep.
the weapon chips.
Did
Yeah.
I level out?
Where it's just kind of upgrading their weapon. Their weapon just turns into like a different style of weapon. It's the same weapon, but its name changes, and sometimes it gets like
Special abilities.
special abilities and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so Malos 1. If we die on this fight, we're going to lose like 15 minutes because once you die once on this fight, you die a lot on this fight. So I hope it goes well. The main reason for that is because we start with all a meter here, but if we die, we just lose all of it. And we're very reliant on the meter for this fight. That's because this is the first example of using a chain attack. Please do enjoy the music, by the way.
And kind of in a neat nod to Xenoblade 1, Malos used a lot of Monado arts.
Yeah, he's like the evil Monado user, I guess. Alright, we're gonna go for chain attack here. I can go for a 3 or a 4 round chain attack. I'm gonna go for a 3 round. It is RNG dependent, but we should be able to get it.
And basically what he's talking about is, so right now there's 3 orbs floating around Malos, and they're lightning, ice, and fire. And if you use a blade of the opposing element, it will do damage to the orb. And if you break an orb during your chain combo, you can extend the chain combo an extra round.
I missed the timing. That's bad.
So we burst the ice and fire orbs this turn, so we will definitely get an extra time. Which was right here. We just extended the round. And as long as the lightning orb breaks this turn, which it just did, Then we get a turn 3. And what's great about it too is that during a chain attack combo like this, if you finish the character off with it and then continue to do damage, you get overkill, which is what's happening here. And with as you do more overkill damage, your bonus goes up, as you're seeing on the left, and that'll give you like more XP and stuff like that.
The experience isn't as notably useful for
It also gives you more like
Torna,
weapon
but
points
for the
and
base
stuff.
game, the bonus experience is actually very integral to the run. So it lets them skip basically grinding at all. So this is one of the few fights where I like to call everyone talking. Everyone has a nice chat before we win, because everyone has a nice chat before we win. There's a lot of trash talking happening there, and you know it's fun when it's in Japanese, so I don't know what they're saying. But I'm pretty sure it's like, ooh, curse you, good guys.
I mean, it could just be Malice monologuing too. He likes to do that.
He does do that, yeah. He also likes to mock. What a jerk. Yeah, that takes care of the first one. So this is the double gargoyle fight. They're pretty much just like the last fights, but they're higher level and they do less damage. So I don't know, they're kind of weird that way.
Yeah, it's odd. It's like higher level, less damage, makes sense. Probably because there's 2 of them, they don't want it to be completely unfair.
Yeah, they also still can use that Dark Ray Barrage, but they're very unlikely to. Ooh, don't hit me. He hit me. What a jerk. We're gonna break. This is over.
Was he Tony the Tiger? Great.
This is the Japanese like battle voice acting. They both have different ones. I prefer the English one because it's really deep voice. He goes amazing, but you know it's preference really.
It's kind of funny. So I run Octopath, like one of the categories of Octopath, and there's a boss fight called Mick and Mac, and it's another game where you can do Japanese or English voice acting. And in the Japanese voice acting, Mick and Mac will do a laugh in a cutscene that will happen before you have the chance to skip it. And in Japanese, it's like they laugh and it's like, huh, 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 huh. So it's like a normal laugh. But in the English one, it's like Dr. Insano laughter. They're like,
You gotta sell it, you know. So I hope you guys are having a very good time because now we're gonna be spending, I think, like 40 minutes or something like that making friends. I really like making friends, so you know, this is just the perfect game for me. I need more friends.
friends are good.
Friends are good. So we're gonna be going through some quick cutscenes here.
Oh, it's great.
Kind of explaining why we're fighting and stuff. That's the only time we'll be seeing him in the run. He does technically show up one more time, but we skipped that cutscene too before he even shows up, so it feels bad. So this friend over here, he wants us to make like a gift for some guy to give to a girl, and we agree, of course, because we need more friends. Over here, this girl, she's kind of an apprentice glassmaker, and you know she wants to know where like the veteran master glassmaker is, and you know we'll go try and find him. If you ever hear that kind of like negative like sound, that's me just smashing the quick travel button, and it doesn't want to give it to me immediately. This guy, he just wants us to pick up around town, so you know, Doesn't sound too hard.
お手伝いさせていただきます。
I think that's one thing that throws me about this game. Now you're mentioning the quick travel menu. Most RPGs will you'll open your normal menu with like the X button, and then this game it's the quick travel menu. So like when I play this game casually, like so many times I'll open the quick travel menu when I want to actually open the regular menu, just because of being used to X being a menu button. And so I'll just be like X. Oh wait, I don't want to travel. Start.
頑張らなきゃな。
That is another small detail about the menu, is that you can press start at any time to exit the menu no matter how deep you are in the menu. So you can save a little bit of time with that.
さて、
That lady we just talked to, she said she's really upset by all the trash around, so we're going to go pick up some trash. Just to show you just how much of a Girl Scout Laura is, yes, she's going to go pick up litter. Shout outs to Girl Scouts of America. They sold me cookies. I like cookies.
I like cookies too.
Oh, I'm happy we agree. I would have had to make you leave if you didn't like cookies.
Yeah.
You'd understand too, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah, okay. Or just in case.
なんか楽しくなってきた。
It's like those weird people that like pie better than cake. Unless that's you, and I'm sorry.
They're both good, so who cares? Like, if something's sweet, it's good to eat. I don't mind. Isn't pie just like liquid cake, anyways?
Well, I mean, inside a crust, yeah.
Yeah. The crust is just to contain the liquid cake. All right, we finally got all that trash picked up. So please, kids, don't leave trash in the forest. That's not very nice.
Give a hoot. Read a book. I mean, what? I forget where that's from.
I don't know either.
I think it's like a
散歩になりました。
Simpsons game or something.
さて、次はどこを目指しましょう。
Maybe people in chat will know. And I can look back at the VOD later.
Here we are talking to the first of the Armus, or rescuing the first of the Armus that kid lost. We're going to be meeting the second one here. Please do not be disturbed by the talking turkeys,
良い
or
散歩になり
turkins.
ました。
So this is a pretty interesting fight, in that I kind of just run away. Chasing. Okay, there we go. And yeah, that was a fight. Oh, excuse me, sir.
Sir.
And yeah, so I don't know why, but most enemies in this game, after you run away, they kind of like de-aggro, and then they despawn, and then they'll respawn after a little bit of time. But you can talk to that armor there before the time happens. So you just run away, come back, talk to it, and those turkins don't respawn. So win-win, I guess.
That is a big nope right there for me.
That's okay. We have aggro off. He can't notice us. Now, if he had a name, that'd be no.
He has a name. It's Nope.
So we're gonna be seeing a scenic viewpoint here. Please, everyone, enjoy it. All right, we're done seeing the scenic viewpoint. I hope you enjoyed it. It's very beautiful.
素晴らしい場所ね。よっと。
So you're talking to this animal?
I mean, maybe it calms down. I don't know. Should be going to Aletta if I remember correctly. So picking up more quests here. This is going to be the story for a little while, is picking up more quests. This guy is looking for one of his troops that went AWOL.
私たちで解決しましょう。
Pretty fun. This guy over here is looking for his missing kids. So everyone's missing right now, I guess. I just don't know where they went.
困ってる人は助けないとね。
Fetch questing kids.
Can you go find my kids? It's like, you're a terrible
良い
father.
散歩になりました。
It's only valid if
次
you
はどこを目指しましょう
when you find the kid, you just pick him up over your head, kind of like Zelda 2.
Oh yeah.
なんか楽しくなってきた
Da-na-na-na, I got the kid.
That's got to be one of the weird. That I wonder what that kid would think. Free piggyback ride. All right. What if the kid ends up being like really big and heavy, and you pick him up?
景色が様変わりしたな
Back injury, I
さ
guess.
て
Okay.
何しに来
That'd just be like super awkward. Like, all right, I got you. Oh no.
Whoa. My bad.
You okay? So this probably is like crying on the floor. Don't tell your dad about this.
到着
見慣れた場所でも慎重に
So we're gonna go find the master of that apprentice glass maker. Unfortunately, it turns out he's dead. So that's a little awkward. So now we're gonna go find his notes and things of that sort.
もらえるものは
So
もらって
he
おかないと
was unfortunately in Torgoth when Malos raised it.
I actually don't think this one was him.
That's right. This wasn't Malos. This
This
was
was just like some random bandits or something
yeah.
like that.
なんか楽しくなってきた
Or no, it was from a continent that was destroyed by Malos. The people left over came here and raised this city. I don't understand how that works, but hey, you know,
Well, then it's his fault indirectly.
indirectly. There you go. It's gotta be someone's fault, right? Might as well be the bad guy.
That's right. It wasn't a big glass hole, so it wasn't him directly.
So I do have to give a shout out to the community that did all the work on routing this. We actually have a big list of like how long all the quests take,
集中
so we don't have to like
上出来じゃない
spend a time like just debating like what's gonna work, what's not gonna work in a route. It's just like this will work because we did the numbers. We know what the average is, but we know what it's most likely to give us, which is pretty nice overall. And for anybody who doesn't know, the number of like available friends that we have that we can get is like somewhere in the 80s, and the amount that we need is in like is like 48. So there's quite a few that we can skip throughout the game.
So I had to assume Vaxford did a lot of the routing for this.
Yes, Vaxford has done most of the routing for this. He also did the rerouting when we found the new glitches that give us the endgame equipment early. And then I did a little bit of rerouting to that to make sure we could squeeze a little bit more extra time out of that. But yeah, quick shout outs, I guess, to the glitchless run, because they have to do a trick called Blue Gate Skip, which is easily one of the hardest tricks I know. It requires stupid amounts of precision and platforming, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this game is like controlling like butter on your shoes, and platforming does not work very well on it.
No.
So when you have to do precise platforming, it's really silly. Alright, let's see if I can land this. Okay, good. Last couple times I got blocked by that root there and just fell all the way down. Doesn't lose that much time, but you do feel silly.
Oh, it's the same two kids from earlier.
Yep.
Nice.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
Where am I going here? This is why I need to keep an eye on my notes. Oh, no, not there. There we go. So now we're going to do a lot of the things that we were like supposed to do earlier. We're going to be picking up the rocks from the ground. We're going to be
さて
talking to that girl that wanted to figure out where it happened to the master glass maker. We'll also be doing like some other random quest with it as well. And we're going to be talking to the troublemakers that spread litter all over the place and bringing them to justice. And by bringing them to justice, I mean having an old person talk to them, which is pretty much like one of the worst punishments you could get, so works for me.
新たな任務ですか
So I was almost short on fish there. That would have been really awkward. It's very unlikely that you're short on fish to talk with to give that guy. But you need to give him quite a bit of fish. But luckily, I ended up with a bunch of sharks to hand to the guy. He wanted fish, but I gave him sharks. He's got a pond full of sharks now. Good times.
I mean, there actually are fish that are called sharks, like rainbow
Arigato.
sharks, and
Is that a fact?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah. Bala shark's a fish.
Well, now you ruined the pond that I thought was going to be really cool because it was filled with
こ
sharks.
ちらも勉
I
強
mean,
になり
I
ま
mean,
した
it could possibly be actual sharks. I mean,
It still
I mean,
feels
I don't
ruined.
know.
Still
I
feels
don't-
ruined. You ruined it. You ruined it. I can't believe this.
ありがとうございます。
I also very rarely have the RNG to actually give that guy 4 sharks, so now I feel like doubly ruined.
oh, dang, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I hope you're sorry.
Well, if you're gonna be like that, I'm not anymore.
Oh, darn it.
But I mean, I don't know Torna sharks very well. I mean, they could actually be sharks. Then
Well,
you
they're
just
Gormati sharks.
carrying a bunch of sharks around in your pocket sounds pretty dope too.
All right, we returned this boy's livestock, so he wants to be our friend, which is understandable. I want to be his friend too. I need more friends.
感謝するよ
And Joey, dang, is he gonna phone you up and ask for a battle later?
Youngster Joey. He doesn't wear
お役に
shorts
立て
though.
てよかったで
This
す
Joey's not as cool.
Yeah.
But whenever I see his name, I always think of like Kangaroo Joey, you know?
He also didn't have a top percentage Rattata, so
Feels bad.
yeah.
What would even a combination game of like Xenoblade and Pokemon look like?
Ooh,
It's hard to. Man,
would Napon be Pokemon?
are they like worse than Magikarp? that sounds canon.
I mean, Tora definitely is. Like, I swear, I feel like casually playing through Xenoblade 2, there were so many curse words dropped at Tora.
ありがとうございます。
That's just how you know they're such good friends.
It's been me, like, because of all the times he just drops dead or
喜んでもらえて
loses
よかった
aggro
よ
or anything else.
One thing that is kind of unfortunate about the Xenoblade games is they actually don't have local multiplayer, despite like what I feel like is being kind of set up well for them, but it doesn't have it.
Yeah, because
Uh,
like be like Secret of Mana or whatever. Like,
Yeah, and honestly, you could really break the combat if you had 3 people playing the characters, not 1 person and 2 AI that pretend to know what they're doing, because they really don't know what they're doing.
yeah, where's that DLC?
さて、
I would love
次は
that.
どこを目指しましょう。
I secretly hope that's in the definitive edition for Xenoblade 1.
Oh, that would be cool. So that's another cool thing. Like, if you've never played these games and you're like, well, I haven't been able to play 1, and like, I don't think it's as expensive anymore. But 1, I remember there was a point where 1 used to be like $100 and something, and it's just a Wii game. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, also if you just magically happen to own a Wii U, I know that's a pretty rare console. It's also on the virtual console for that. And that's
Oh.
also what it runs the best on,
Oh, okay.
with the PAL version being the speedrun fastest version. So
But Switch is coming out with a re-release called the Definitive Edition, which is what Polecats was talking about, which I'm excited for because that's probably how I'm going to get it and play it.
I'm definitely going to get that. I'm super looking forward to it.
照れるな
I wonder if it will have as bad of the grind as it used to have. I do joke about the grind in these games, but Xenoblade 1 has a really terrible grind. It was to such a degree that the run used to be like 3-4 hours of grinding.
Oh, wow.
Now it's like 1 or 2 after they found some glitches. Or I think it's like 1 to 1.5. Nope, this way.
Gee, and I thought Dragon Quest 1's like maybe half an hour of grinding was bad.
it's really ridiculous when you play Xenoblade 1, especially when you get near towards the end. Like, it gets to a point where it's just like, if you're behind, it's like, oof, oof, oof. That game is extremely punishing to be behind level. That's why it's so grindy. And for those who don't know, you lose like just accuracy to a point where if you're 10 levels behind an enemy, you can't hit it. It's really silly.
Doesn't this game have something like that too, but it's not as bad?
It's not accuracy, but yeah, it's like percentage damage and stuff of the sort. But you don't like lose damage yourself, you like take more. So it's definitely a lot more forgivable. Okay, we actually have a small fight coming up here. A couple small fights coming up here. The first is going to be a Griffix. I think they call it Griffix. Not too hard of a fight. The main thing we're just going to be looking for is a fusion combo if we can get it. Even without a fusion combo, you could probably still die to using Ultimate Aurora. And for those who don't know, Ultimate Aurora is the Blade Combo 3 that we do through Lightning from Adam, Fire from Brigid, and Ice from Jin.
So that Napon you just talked to and helped out looked like it was trying to be Toad. That mushroom.
The one with
hat.
mushroom hat? Yeah, he's kind of crazy. But hey, I'd wear a mushroom on my head if it didn't hurt me. That's a real fashion statement.
Yeah. It is definitely something. So what's kind of cool is Adam actually has a passive that can extend driver combos. I think we saw it just happen there a little bit ago.
Yeah, we didn't explain talent arts too much, but every character in the game has a talent art. Adam he can expend his health to extend driver combos. This means that you can leave an enemy toppled for a long time. It does, unfortunately, stop working after a certain health threshold, but you can still get 3 or 4 extensions off it. Laura, she can expend half of her health to get all of her cooldowns back. Another really good ability. And Hugo can expend like 30% of his health to get aggro from everything, which is also, once again, very useful. The blades all have very hard to use, very specific niche talent arts that are harder to, well, basically get activated, but they're usually stronger if you can.
感謝する
これで一安心だね
So we have another fight here. You're going to see a guy similar to the one who could like one-shot us earlier, but he can no longer one-shot us, so he's very easy. The main thing is that he has a lot of health, so once again, we're just going to try to fusion combo him. There's not too much else going on with that fight. Oh yeah, we also get to make friends with Benny. I have to say, Benny's probably the best NPC in this game. He literally just says, hey, I had meatball stew because of you last night. I loved it. Be my friend. I wish there were more kids like Benny.
Yeah, right.
So happy that he just got something so simple. What a kid.
Right.
There's a reason they call him Pure Kid Benny.
Pure kid. Stop resisting break. Sure.
Whoa, stop resisting. What are you saying?
Maybe he should be saying stop resisting, huh? He's the military looking guy.
It is a little unfortunate that they don't say the line that they're all famous for in Xenoblade 2. Don't forget me. So yeah, we do try to get a fusion combo there because it won't kill otherwise, and we kind of just awkwardly hit him the rest of the time. He's like a traitor or a spy or something like that, and we decided not to kill him for some reason. But he wants to be a friend, so I'm okay with it.
He's probably like, I admire your ability to
Not kill me.
to whoop my butt.
見慣れ
Let's
た
be
場所でも
friends.
慎重にな。
私は陛下の指示に従ったまでです。
All right, so we made one friend there, but this next quest we're doing, we get to make 3 friends. I wish we had more quests like that. There's one coming up later that we'll get 3 friends from, but this one's easily one of the easiest to get triple friends from an easy quest.
光栄です。
ありがとう。
光栄です。
We finally hit community level 3, and you might think, oh, finally we're done with quests. No, we need to get to community level 4. Luckily, 4 does not take as long as 3 does.
一件落着だ。
So here, apparently during that attack on the city, we lost a bunch of people for this militia. Now we gotta go find more people to
引き受けたか
die
ら
from the
ね。
militia, I guess. I don't know.
But there's nobody left.
We go to the capital, it's deserted. We don't want to join.
良い散歩になりました。
That'd be a great time.
次はどこを目指しましょう。
Oh. Let me talk to her more. So one thing I guess I need to quickly mention is these kind of like just NPCs that have the happy face next to them. They're ones that will just become your friend if you talk to them. We call them freebies, and there's a few freebies we pick up. Obviously, if there's a freebie available, we're going to take it because it's the fastest thing to get onto our list of friends versus like actually doing quests.
Hey, it's Chica.
So we're gonna help this girl here find her, I guess her hubby, because apparently he went fishing, has not returned yet.
So is going fishing the walrus equivalent of going out for smokes and milk?
And that person we made a very lovely gift for someone else. Unfortunately, he got rejected, and now he's gonna go try to find another gift. We're not sure how well that's going, so we're gonna have to go check up on him.
ご気分はいかがですか。
And right now, we're kind of just walking around, seeing if we can get some volunteers for the army or militia.
Putting our footprints in the Zen garden, no big deal.
Unfortunately, it's the fastest way. I don't know what to say. I feel bad. I'm saving time though.
And instantly you're on the bridge as you talk to him.
Yeah, see, we weren't even in the sand. It was all an illusion.
まったく。
All right, we're gonna go look for more volunteers now, because apparently people don't want to join us.
I'm like, I heard everybody that joins you just drops dead. No.
There's a reason you're looking for people. Maybe we can offer them free continental breakfast, and they'll come by.
Oh, hey, it's Toad Person again.
Yep, we've asked him to be a volunteer. Turns out Toad persons are not very smart, and he's agreed to do so.
So I noticed you found all those Nopon in the Backstreet area. Did that make them the Backstreet Boys then?
The Backstreet Nopons? I don't know. I have no clue. This is a question I do not know the answer to.
気分転換になった。
慣れた場所でも慎重に。
Forgive me, I'm tired.
You're not the only one. Ooh, we are short of muscle branch. That is unfortunate.
Daylight savings was not helpful.
Oh, was it not?
Well, I mean, we lost.
Well, I
an hour
mean,
of
you
sleep.
tried to sleep. I was like, well,
Yeah. Probably was helpful for
I'm
you.
doomed anyways.
I tried to sleep and then failed for
How'd
a
that-
while. And then maybe got 4 hours.
さて
Maybe.
次は
beats
どこを
me.
目指しましょう
Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably 3.5. But
なんか楽しくなってきた
Oof.
I'm not done here today.
Oh, yeah?
I have to couch Pokemon Sword.
Oh, no.
That's 4.5 hours.
さて何しに
Does that run 4.5 hours? I thought it was a little longer.
He can do it in 4.5.
Oh, we believe? We believe.
こういうのワク
I
ワ
mean,
クするよね
unless he gets super trolled, it'll.
Talking about getting trolled here. I'm not getting a single muscle branch. You can see my count in the
見慣れ
bottom
た場所で
right.
も慎
Oh
重に。
yeah.
I need 10 here. There's literally nothing I can do. I have to keep going to this one.
I mean, it is a marathon. Trolls happen. I mean,
Yeah,
こういうの
my
ワ
run
クワク
was
するよね
not.
this is
Troll-proof.
easily the roughest thing because this is like the very last thing we need any sort of like hard to get collections for.
見慣れた
And
場所でも
you
慎
can
重に。
easily lose like just 2 minutes to this and you'll be like, well, there goes my PV, I guess. You can count the muscle branch earlier, but it's pretty difficult to keep your eyes on it.
There we
It
go.
also doesn't do you much good to count it early too, because if you're short, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Other than reset, it just doesn't do much else.
気分転換になった
さて何しに来たの
So she wanted like I think like $1/5 we offered her her best friend Arb, I guess, or we said we're friends of Arb, and she was like, okay, never mind, I won't charge you anything.
見慣れた場所でも
So
慎
she's not a very good negotiator.
No. More friends.
Exactly. I think she's just happy that we found the dad of those kids. Oh,
何しに来たんだっけ
so this is the guy that was
Wait, so he actually did go fishing?
yes, he did.
Oh.
It was code for fishing. Who would have guessed?
嬉しい
Let's see, where are we going here? I forgot. All right, we're on track.
景色が様変わりしたな
さて何しに来たんだっけ
So one thing I mentioned about like zombie hover was that it cancels fall damage. Yeah, we take fall damage. Another interesting quirk of this game is that enemies take falling damage. And this is one of the instances of where we use it, falling damage in the run coming up on the next fight in a few minutes, or in a couple minutes.
So is this like a Malthus fight caliber funny, or
ありがとう
In some ways, I just like to call it golfing, and it's a par 3, so we'll see if we get it in 3 shots.
I'm not gonna lie, like when I played Xenoblade 2, the original one casually, I couldn't beat a Malthus, so I looked up that strat and
こ
did
れ
it
でよろしいですか
so I could get through it.
I remember people like talking online like, yeah, I just knocked him down the hole and the fight was over. I was like, wait, what? Oh, this is the scenic point we found earlier, so now you can actually see it.
Oh, that is actually quite scenic.
It is
次は
quite
どこを
scenic.
目指しましょう
Oh, that is me getting an on-call message. Hang on. I can't override that either.
少し目立ちすぎたか
It's probably not even important, to be honest. Yeah, here we go.
甘いわ
Acknowledge the alert.
So the knockbacks we choose to use for this are the blowdown from Adam. We also use Steam Bomb into Steam Explosion for both knockbacks. Oh my goodness. The thing about blowbacks though is if the enemy just so happens to be using an attack, it won't get knocked back. And you can't knock it back while it's toppled. Unfortunately, our allies are really good at toppling stuff, so this is going to be annoying. Fight's not going too well. Oh, we got her. Goodbye. Fight's over. And unfortunately, that kid that went to go find another gift for the girl is not going to make it, apparently. And I feel very bad because he was my favorite character. I'm going to miss Leo.
Nope. Lost a friend.
Goodbye, friend. So now we're going to go tell the bad news.
So, hey Sarah, he dead, yo.
Turns out he's no longer dead. He came back to life. What
He's
an
not
amazing
quite
guy.
dead.
I love Leo. What a champ. Look at him. He's right there.
He's not quite dead yet.
Just like me.
And now you're net positive 2 friends.
Yes.
Just because, apparently. No, she like, oh, he almost died, I love him now.
What a champ. What a champ. Went to go fight something. Barely survived. Wait, did he try to fight? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're almost done making friends, which is kind of sad. So the version of 100% for this is max community, which involves making all the friends. I do not do those runs, but I thought I'd mention it real quick because there is not like a true 100%. It's just make friends category. That's how I like to call it. All right, we only need 5 more friends now. Going here. So unlike all those other quests where we're doing a bunch of like frivolous weird stuff, this one we're just kind of like getting a ship ready in case like things go poorly, which is like kind of boring. You know, I was thinking about the future and stuff. I was like, nah. And unfortunately, we're gonna be doing another kind of boring to explain quest after this, which is we're just gonna be building a shelter in case things go wrong. But those quests that were like we do things in case things go wrong are actually some of the fastest quests in the game, and they give us quite a few friends for them. So we've gotten to talk to this NPC quite a few times. Geo here. I just call him helping the helper NPC because that's the way he's written in the notes, and I just have been calling him that ever since. He's a fun NPC that way. He just, for whatever reason, just keeps doling you out quests, and they're all worthwhile doing in the run, so just end up getting done. So that guy who kind of just gave us the cold shoulder, he misses his daughter. We're gonna go find her. It turns out his daughter is Lida, so that's a little awkward and
次はど
convenient.
こを
So.
目指しましょう
I don't need that insect point. I'm pretty sure I don't need that tree point either up there. Those are pretty nice backups to have in the run, just because they can give you one or two of something that you might just be missing, but we should have enough for the rest of the run.
I found it sort of amusing how when you first find her, when you first find her out of the dock area and she wants the spicy food, there's a conversation that goes on when her blade says that they should name that area after her to remind her of it or something like that, and then that's what the name of it is in Xenoblade 2.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's Lido Oasis.
I just remember the waiting tree, but I didn't remember the.
景色が様変わりしたな
I didn't know that
さ
one.
て何しに来たんだっけ
I'm pretty sure that area is called Lido Oasis, or Lida, or however you pronounce her name, in the original.
I guess a quick thing we can talk about is Gormott also is in the original, and when they made it, when they brought it to this game, they changed quite a bit about it. But one weird thing they changed about it was they kind of like made it so old areas are inaccessible.
Oh, yeah.
They put just like some boring wall over there, and you can just infinite jump over there, and you can see that it's just like empty. There's like things on that map that are just completely missing, and you're just like, what on earth is going on over here? There's supposed to be like a cabin over there or something, and it's just missing. And if you go over there, it's just a big square in the ground, and you'll fall right through it. It's pretty silly.
Oh yeah, it's where Tora's uncle or whatever is.
Yeah.
That cabin.
Oops. Okay, cool. We have more than enough.
But considering Torgoth got raised, it's nice to see that they were able to build it back for Xenoblade 2.
Well, they had 500 years.
Yeah, they did.
Apparently, that's how long it took. So we have one last friend to go make, and luckily he is a freebie. After we finish that quest, there will be just one guy. I think his name's Mimi right here. I don't even know what he talks about, but he's a freebie, and I like freebies. Oh, he's Minnie. Sorry. How would you feel if your parents named you Minnie?
Not very well, considering I'm pretty tall. I'm not very mini, in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, there's Tiny the Tiger in Crash Bandicoot. He's not tiny.
I mean, yeah. I suppose usually people that call big people that call themselves tiny, it's kind of an ironic thing, I don't know.
Maybe you're just doomed to be tall if they call you tiny. Like, they're using reverse psychology to make the kid grow tall.
Yeah.
We want you to be tiny. No, I'll be big. Okay, we have some pretty long loading screens here. For whatever reason, like after the Jagron fight and this like in cutscene, when you skip it, it just takes forever. And I don't know why. But yeah, we're going to be going to the final boss. We'll be trying to go for a quick kill on the first phase of the final boss, and then the second phase of the final boss is like a 7-minute fun time that we hopefully don't die on. Oop, not there. There we go. The game intends for us to go through this really nicely looking entrance here. We're not going to do that. we're instead gonna like just use that quick travel point we got way earlier in the game. I have 2 crafts I need to do here.
さてどう上手にできました
Ooh. And head
誰
forward.
かに演じてもらうのもいいか
Yes is a hard button to press, I'm gonna be honest.
力が湧いてくるよ。
もっと強くならなくちゃ
皆さんの助力あってこそです。
So we're coming up on like, I guess my other long menu I have to do here. Well, it's not as long. But it is annoying to remember it.
熟練度が上がってきたかな。
技のキレが増してきたよ
この力で道を切り開く。
Okay, then we go to pouches. And we're just getting the kind of
この感じ。
the last
成長を
pieces of the affinity chart to help us with the final fight. It doesn't sound like that would be very fast, but it is.
だんだん使いこな
新たな
Just because of certain setups we'd like to use for it.
うまく。
努力もっともっと頑張りますね
See here, we want affinity max attack. Same here. And I believe I've got everything I need. Okay, cool. We're gonna finally use this warp point we picked up. And we're gonna go to the final fight. So the big thing about the final fight is if I die at any point, like the party wipes and we don't have meter, we'll be kicked out to like the front menu. One of the nice things is it auto saves here when you choose to actually go to the final fight. So if things go poorly, we have a safety save automatically. But we're gonna see if we can get the quick kill here. This is gonna be the kind of the biggest notable use of a stacked fusion combo. We mentioned how fusion combos give you bonus damage and stuff like that. But whenever you do a fusion combo on top of another one, you get more bonus damage. So on this topple here, if I can hopefully get both fire into ice, I can get a big chunk of bonus damage here. And hopefully end this fight really quickly. I don't know if there's a one-shot, but it should be very close. That was a lot farther off than I thought it would be, actually. That's fine. We'll smash.
かすみ譲りはしない。譲りはしない。
Oh no, he got armor out. So armor makes him take like 0 damage. So in the meantime, we'll fight someone else. This guy's quite dirty. So unfortunately, we were able to get a double stack topple. They go up to triple and they do a lot more damage that way. But usually single isn't enough. Unfortunately, we got really short on damage there. So.
So another thing about being an Aegis is that you get to control these things called artifices. And that's what these things are. They're basically like giant, like robot monsters. mechs. Sometimes they look like mechs. Sometimes they look like other things, like dragons.
One thing about the developers of Xenoblade is that they really love giant robots. So they always show up. And speaking of giant robots, we're going to have a very exciting giant robot fight coming up here. Well, hopefully it's exciting. So the way this last fight works is we're going to be building our party meter. And then from there we can execute attacks with our giant robot. We need to get 4 attacks out with our giant robot before we can actually do a chain attack. So in the meantime, we're going to be setting up that chain attack to do as much damage as possible. One way we build that meter is by landing these action commands.
So being a Mithra is also an agent, he also has access to those. So that's what the white versus the dark ones were about in that part of the cutscene we saw.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the white robot's the good one.
He's just theming. Because Mithra wears a lot of white.
There is a very bizarre glitch that happens here, where these cutscenes here can play really slow, and they take like 10 seconds each, they're supposed to, but they can end up taking like a minute if you get any of those, so you do need to watch out for that. Unfortunately, I was trying to get Minoff to do something, but unfortunately it did not work out.
Another Cyclone.
That's his favorite one. I'm okay with Minoff Cyclone. There's things I can work around with it. Other ones are a little more difficult to work around. Use Aqua, actually. So another thing about that Topo launch smash combo we're talking about, it also offers quite a bit of party gauge when we do it. So it's nice whenever we do get those breaks in there.
You know the orbs you've got.
I should have all the orbs on him right now. If I missed one, that's really bad. But I see them all. Except maybe Zoom. I missed him. No, there's one. I'm not sure. Here comes our armor again. So a nice thing about these cutscenes is they also waste time. Minato armor lasts 30 seconds, and he takes less damage than the entire time. I think I'm missing life. Oh, we can fix that. of breaks. All right, so here we are. We're past phase 4. If we die at this point, we're going to be at 0 meters, so if we die, it's going to be really problematic. So hopefully we don't. But as soon as we have enough meter, we'll probably try to chain attack. The only exceptions would be if he uses Monado armor or Monado shield. He actually has quite a bit of health left too. Surprised about that. Please do enjoy the very exciting battle announcer.
He's very happy about those driver combos, let me tell you.
He loves them. Just can't get enough.
Magnificent.
All right, this should be over. All we gotta do is perform this right. So you're gonna notice I'm not hitting too many action commands here. Simple reason is they don't provide me as much damage as they do early game. The only exception to that is, of course, the round extend. I have to hit that, or the damage is going to be absolutely ruined in these combos. So, yeah. Please. We might not do enough damage, actually, by the end of this. Hopefully it ends on Jin then. Yeah, it should end on Jin. Well, most likely. 1 in 4 chance that it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. So this is full burst. We basically get to do a lot of damage with it. And you can watch his health bar fall here. Oh, got him.
Kill. Nice.
少しはマシになったか。
Okay, so this is not time here, but on the next fight is the final fight. We cannot lose this next fight, but we can lose time on it. So yeah, we have a very pretty final boss here. So there isn't too much strategy to this fight. We're basically just going for basic fusion combos and topples. Those both do a lot of work. So we might get lucky and not actually even go down here. In order to end this fight, though, I'm going to need to get break into tier 3. There we go. As long as I don't. Oh, there we go. Got him. It's time. Yeah, it's okay. Please do enjoy that beautiful man right there. So yeah, that's been Xenoblade Torna. I do need to give shout-outs to the community, especially the community members that found these glitches. So big shout-out goes to Xenoblade, who found the infinite jumping glitch, and Smaller shout out goes to Chief's Affinity for being able to find the clip that we use. Is there anything else you want to add to this one?
No, thanks for having me.
Oh, it was great having you here. It would have been a very awkward long time of questing and finding friends without you, so thanks for being here.
Yeah, no worries. It was fun. Hope everybody enjoyed.
So yeah, I've been Polecats, and this outro cutscene is really long, so I'm not going to go take any more time here.
And I'm Velociraptor42, and hope you enjoyed Xenoblade. If you if you haven't played it, it kind of compels you to pick it up, and at least play it casually. The Xenoblade 2 games are amazing.
Yeah, they are a real blast with the combat. If you take the time, take even a little time to learn it, you can do all sorts of fun things with it without even trying.